This week we saw GJ falling. People were like, okay, when is this gonna stop? And I said 155.700 has to be a reaction, and you can see here, look at this, 155.700 has to be a reaction. This is the monthly zone I discussed. Welcome back, guys. Harry here, known as Trade Sharp, and in this video it's going to be a really exciting video because it's a monthly close here for gold and for GBPJPY, and we need to dissect the pairs because a lot of you are going to get this wrong and are going to lose money if you don't understand the higher time frame analysis. So we're going to do a top-down analysis based on my trading style, which is price action based trading. We also have some really important announcements in this video. You probably can see in the title we do have a giveaway, a pretty big giveaway, and I think it's going to be really fun. So be sure to watch this video and listen up for that giveaway so you can have a chance to win, because this is not a big channel, so you probably have a high chance. And this is not going to be the only giveaway because I love doing it. It's pretty fun. It helps me, helps you. So definitely gonna speak about that, so make sure to watch the video till that part comes. Not sure where I'm gonna put it in the video. So with that being said, we need to analyze GBPJPY gold. I'm gonna show you how I got those levels so accurate and how you guys can profit off the analysis next week. Make sure also in my groups down below I send a daily analysis, so that can help, and that is the safe haven of Forex, right? So if you have any questions, have your chart you want to send, say why did I fail in this trade, because if you lose a trade you have to make sure to understand why did you lose. You can send that in the group and I'll give feedback. I answer all the time there. So guys, what you've been waiting for, the giveaway announcement. So what I'm gonna do is next week I'm gonna take trades based on what people send me in the groups, right? So I have a Telegram group. This is the best place. I send my daily analysis, and many people use my daily analysis to help them generate their trading bias, send in questions, send in charts. But I want to see how well people that been in my group has developed their skills. And remember, this is a free group, you guys can join down below. I want to see how well they've developed their skills. So what we're going to do, this was actually a recommendation by one of our subscribers. His name is Steven, so shout out to him. And basically what we're going to do is the people in the group are going to send me their trade setups, and I'm going to take those trade setups without me saying anything, without any question in it. I'm just gonna press. If they say buy, I'm gonna buy. If they say sell, I'm gonna sell. Now the money I win from that, or the money I lose, so with the money I win, I'm gonna use that to give back to you guys, because this is gonna be your trade. So that's gonna automatically enter you into a raffle where you guys can win the money. So however much I make that week, you guys can win. And what's gonna be fun is that you have to make sure that you're subscribed to keep updated when we do the giveaway, because that video will come up next week and then the results will be the week after. So be sure to be subscribed. My updates are going to be given on my Instagram, so follow me down below. And then it's going to be pretty fun. We're going to have a second place winner. I'm still deciding the second place prize, and it's going to be a great chance. This is not a big YouTube channel, so you'll have a good chance. And it's going to be fun, and we're going to do plenty of giveaways, so be sure to join that. And with the money I lose, I didn't tell you that, if I lose, let's say $100-200, I'm going to give that to charity. So I'm going to lose double, but it's for a good cause. So be sure to enter that and be subscribed so you can be part of it. It's going to be super fun. And yeah, let's get into our analysis. So everyone's favorite pair, Mighty Gold. Everyone loves gold. Can either make your account smile or it can blow your account and you never trade again. But that shouldn't happen if you're using proper risk management. I'm just talking about the big moves that happen, because if you're on the wrong side of this trade, then that's not going to be very good. But this is the point of analyzing, to make sure you're never on the wrong side of the trade, and if you were, you have to realize why. So let's go on to the monthly time frame, because we have a monthly close here. I know it says 1 day and 14 hours, but it's already the markets are closed now, so it's practically closed now. I think this is just a mistake with my charts or something. Normally we should see it's closed. If I have my marked up chart here and just remove the drawing, we can see it's already closed here, but we can see these charts are identical here, so that's wrong. Don't care about that. But we can obviously see here that we closed the monthly bullish. Now that's interesting, because we could see we closed the previous monthly bearish below this range, expecting it ideally to come down, and we could have seen at least this area here of 1710 or something, right? But we can see we closed bullish. We gave a retest up here to the 1815 area, which was a major monthly resistance here around the 1815 area. So price made a retest here and rejected this area, right? So if we really wanted to see gold push up really fast, we would need obviously a close above the 1815 area. But with this rejection area here, we are still bullish, and this is not a very bad bullish candle. If I saw the candle close something like this below this area here, if we saw the candle close like this, that's a very bad drawing, but respecting this low, then I could say, okay, the next candle can come break the lows and we can look for our target down at 1810. But looking at the charts here, we can see we're closing back in this range. So gold can actually range this month, and that's completely fine. Until it takes out the highs or takes out the lows, we are stuck in this block here basically, right? So we need to keep that in mind. But obviously we have bullish pressure coming into next month just based off the monthly closing bullish, right? So we have to keep that in mind, and we can see a retest. But again, if we start breaking down below these lows, then of course we can see this being tapped around the 1810 area, right? So we'll have to see how the month opens up, but you have to keep in mind that we are closing back in the range. We closed above all of these resistances, so a retest back up to the 1815 I do think will happen this month. And if we reject again, then it looks like we might range for the month. But if we do break above here, then we could see some some more upside potential. But again, remember, this is a very we're coming late into the year, and also we need to see that play out, right? So weekly time frame though is closed bearish, right? And we can see here we are putting in some sort of lower low and lower high structure, right? So what we want to see is, if we want to see more upside based on the monthly, we want to see these weekly lows respected, and we want to see price come up and try to retest around the 1830 area, right? So we have to keep that, I would say this area right here would be a good target, again around the 1815, and that would make sense, right? But based on the weekly closing bearish, that obviously means we have some some downside pressure. So we could open up, and remember, when a monthly candle opens, it makes its bottom wick. So this makes sense for price to come down, make a retest here towards this area here, which is around the 1760s, make a retest, form its bottom wick before continuing towards the upside to go and retest that 1815 area, right? So that makes a lot of sense. And if we break it, obviously we have to get past this major rejection here at the 1830s, and then we have a clean shot up there to the 1900s. But I don't think that will happen in 1 month, but you never know. But I don't think so. But remember, the candles need to make their bottom wick. So if price makes its bottom wick, this makes sense for price to come back and retest around these areas, around the 1760, because that's been a major area. You can see how strong that level has been since last month. So keep that in mind. And it makes sense, because if you look at monthly candles, they all make bottom wicks, right? So we can mark this as our weekly resistance here, and that's the start of our chart, right? And let's see what the daily is telling us. So daily, we can see we've rejected this level here, which is going to be the 1770, I would say level 1772 it rejected, but around that area there. And we can see we're closing back above this resistance here, right? So we can mark this as our daily rejection wick, right? So we can do daily rejection wick, and that's basically can be a target for the monthly to make its new candle. So we can see a quick retest in the morning upon Asian open, markets open. We could probably see it 80s to the 1790 level and then reject to make the bottom wick, and we'll see what it does at this 1770 level, and if it will hold above here before continuing up. But sells make sense coming into next week, in the beginning of the week, as long as we're respecting these highs right here, right? So that's when sells make sense. So 4-hour time frame, obviously you can see it has closed the market on a buyback, breaking these highs. So this is what I mean about the Asian session, where we could get that retest, and that retest, if there's very heavy bearish pressure based on this, we could see the retest only come back up to the 1785 to the 1786 level, which we can see has been a very strong resistance in the past, right? You can see how many times prices rejected that area. So it makes sense for it to come up to the 1785 and then start to reject to go fill that wick and come back down to the 1772, making the bottom wick on the monthly. But remember, the monthly closed bullish, so that doesn't mean that gold is going to crash back into this range, right? That can simply mean we can get a retest down to this area before continuing up, right? So we have to keep that in mind. So for people, trying to catch sells, you want to try catch sells up here, right? It's not going to be a good idea trying to sell below this low, because you have to deal with all of this. And remember, selling below this low, with the monthly, we're going against the monthly candle, right? and it can be very, very difficult, right? So keep that in mind. And now if we can mark this as our major 4-hour resistance, and you see how important this resistance level is, right? So that stands for major 4-hour resistance, and you can see how important that level is. Rejected multiple in the past here, right? So if we go to the 1 hour here, we can see obviously we have that 1 hour level. We need to let it do its retest here, because this is quite a strong buyback. But if we see any weakness with the 4-hour candle closing bearish, obviously we would see some downside here, and you have an easy target, probably back down here to at least the 1778. So you would look for something like this, see price come here, see some sort of structure form. Once that structure is breaking, I think you'll have a clear shot, at least retest to 1775, yeah, probably 1775 in New York Stock Exchange open, right? But the first day is always going to be shaky, right? But based on this, we are, until if we close above this resistance here, I do think then we will push the retest up to the 1792, because this is a range here, right? And if we're closing back in the range and we have this low traffic area here, LTA, we will easily push back up into the 1792, right? And we'll have to see if it does come back down. It could make a higher low and continue up here, right, based on that monthly candle being bullish. But obviously I would like to see the monthly candle form its lower wick before continuing up, and that lower wick and this pullback here, if it rejects from here, let's say, and this pullback will just be a lower wick on the monthly candle to go up and continue bullish, right? But again, that 1815 area is going to be key, right? So don't try buy price at this area. It's going to be very, very dangerous to buy price at the area. We have to see how it reacts. You can see in the past we've had crazy moves from that area, and that doesn't mean sell from this area, because we could break through, right? Especially on a new monthly candle, right? So just understand where you are in the market. That's basically it on gold. I don't want to make it much more complicated. So we can see here, if we go to the monthly time frame here on GJ, many people are getting fooled by the weekly. We had this retracement here, but this is not bearish here. We can see that the monthly time frame indeed has shown a resolution towards the upside. So as a bias, we should be biased towards the upside, looking for GJ to continue up, just based on this monthly close, closing above this resistance and the most recent resistance that we've failed to really close above since 2017. We're not above these wicks yet, but we can see price has broken above this area here. So we can see this as a rejection of this area, but just based on how bullish this closes, we should be looking for buys, right? So we can expect this wick to get filled, and I think by the end of the year we should probably pop up within this area here between 161 to 162 is probably a yearly target, and I think that can be achievable based on this bullish momentum, but we'll have to see how that goes. Now if we go into our analysis, as always, and we'll start off at the weekly time frame here, because the weekly is closing. You could see this is like a bearish closure with a very, very weak bullish candle here on this week, and a rejection of these highs. But what's very important, and what many people miss out, is we are bullish on the market. Obviously markets are going to go up and down. We're going to see stuff like this, right? But that doesn't mean that we're suddenly bearish and look for GJ to come and retest these lows here at 148 or something. That's not the case, right? We can obviously see that price is very bullish, and notice where it has closed, guys. We can see that price is closed at this support level here. So really, with this little reaction failing to get below here, we should not really be looking for sell until we close below 155.674, below, once we get below this range, because otherwise it's consolidating at the highs, and this you could look at as a retest, right? So now if we go into the daily time frame, we obviously need to mark off our weekly resistance, so you can see how a top down analysis is done. So here is our weekly resistance here, and now we can go and we can see on the lower time frames here, yes, the daily is closing bearish, but again holding this major support level here, right? So you can see this is a major support, and we're going to call this our daily support, right? And I'm not resistance, this is our daily support, and we can say this is as a M for major, right? So major daily support level here, and we can see that we obviously have our range lows right here. So this is our normal daily support. So this is our normal daily support level here. So we mark this up like this, and now we can go into the 4-hour time frame. Now from the 4-hour time frame, we can adjust this a little bit better, and we can see now we have a clear area. Why did I say 155,700? Because of this whole area here. This was a very nice resistance. We can see that in the past it bounced off this area here, and I was looking for the reaction from here, and we can see we got that reaction, right? So that's why we obviously had clean candles on the way down here, low traffic area. We could expect price to be filled, but here's our last structure, right? Our last structure on the higher time frame is within here. So obviously we should have a clean move here, but I expect there to be a reaction. I didn't say a reversal, I said a reaction, right? So that's how I got that area. Very simple. Now we can see, look, we're failing to close below this area. So until we close below this area, you know, sells don't really make sense. And if we look at the daily time frame, yes, it is bearish, but it's within this area. So trying to sell into this area, trying to sell here is going to be very, very difficult. And this is where a lot of you are going to lose money. You think daily is bearish, I want to sell in this area. A lot of people had the same problem here when they kept trying to sell here, and sell here. Remember, these are your lows. We have the same situation up here. It's very dangerous to sell in this area. What you rather want to see is we want to see price come down, show us that it can break this area, and then we can catch sells here. There's no point of losing money, especially so late into the year. Preserve your capital. Even if we can get it up here and then look for sells, we can even catch this, right? So there's no rush for sells at the moment. We need to see what price does. So on the 4 hour, we can see a starting of a rejection. So we could get some upside here, and we can actually end, you know, first day of the month, we can actually end the daily candle bullish, right? So we have to mark these areas off, because obviously what's very important is, you know, you can look at this and say, all right, since we have a LTA, which is a low traffic area, check out my video up there about the full description of price action, because this is what we trade using price action. So check out the full, you know, video of that. And yeah, so this is a low traffic area. You can expect price to just pop up here, right? But that's not the case, because you have to remember what's going on towards the left here, right? You have to remember we have all of these areas to keep in mind, right? This was a major resistance level, so we mark this off as our major resistance, right? So this is our 4 hour resistance, and then, you know, this is, we'll duplicate this actually, and this is also another 4 hour resistance. So really our trading areas are between here and between here, right? So on the 1 hour time frame, what are we going to look for? We can see it's a rejection of this area here. Obviously we could have a clean shot once we create some structure above here, right? That's looking good coming into next week. But you know, I do think if we get above here, you know, to be honest, the cleaner buys will be above this 4 hour resistance, because look at the mess we've had in the past. Just because we've had a clean move down doesn't mean we can do this. If we come up here and then make some support here, yeah, that could make sense, right? So we need to really let Asian play out, but obviously that's what I'm looking for. Now, so that's going to be our buying bias. We have a clean range to buy, and then of course we can start buying pound yen up, right? Once we can start seeing it reject this zone. Now, if we want to sell, we really want to see it again, what I said, below 155.600 at least minimum, right? And then at least come up, and then from this point we can start looking for sells, right? Because we need to show us that it's not going to reject and then start doing this, because look how many times this has happened. So ideally we need to see it get below this area here, right? So this is where we need to see it get below. So yeah, 155.600, that's probably, you know, 155.650 is going to be a good area if we're looking for sells based on the daily time frame. But remember where the weekly close, remember how the monthly close. So that's basically it for pound yen. Very simple. Next week, be sure to join the groups, because in the groups I send my daily analysis, and you guys can benefit a lot from that. Understand where you are in the market, and I hope this analysis helps. Definitely be sure to join the giveaway. Take care guys, trade sharp, and until next time, peace.